My name is Mask the Pikmin, and it's been a while. I'm coming in with Drill Core gameplay. I actually had everything completely maxed out, like literally everything. Well, I didn't have all of the qualifications. I had most of them. I had that. I had that. I had that. I had all of this. That. I did not have that. I did have that. I had recently unlocked it as well. I had this. Didn't have that. I had that. Because that's actually pretty easy. I had that, I had that, didn't have that, and I had neither of those. Paired with, like, paired with my platform, yeah, this was 15, because again, max. This was also 15. I had everything unlocked, and then I got some weird update, completely kicked me, reset me back. I've been playing back through. It's actually been a lot of fun, especially with the new updates. Granted, not entirely, because well, it used to be that you could just come here to the Frost planets and you could play through any difficulty and it was like way easier compared to the magnetic field correction planets, especially after they dropped the first boss update, which added the I can't even remember its name now. But now we have disinfection missions, and it's just overall a very fun thing to go back through. Granted, I'm never going to be able to beat anything past 10 because, as much as I love the game, it is actually very hard to actually survive on that sort of thing. I'm going through and I'm going to do a magnetic field correction on difficult level 4 because I'm unlocking Recycler and Railgun. Now, just so I make it clear, I'm using the Phoenix Core as it makes everything a bit easier. The machine gun turret type recharge of 15% bonus, along with automatic turret and shield array for my start technologies, just because I want to make all that clear. Along with that, I have everything but the last three upgrades unlocked as of right now. And yeah, well, not quite upgrades. I have the entire first category, which is really just basics in all honesty. Multi-quarries, obviously the Phoenix Core. Factory storage, the first. Well, it's the only one really, because it allows for build up of resources. The first motivational program, the first technology decryptor upgrade, additional rigs to the shaft, swarmlet storage, time warper, which that's pretty good. I cannot wait to finally have all of the resources to unlock ore section plant, which I will probably have after this. Yeah, that's all, everything I have so far. Normally, you'd see someone do this and they'd have everything, but I'm not deleting my save file again just for that. So anyway, we're going here because the qualifications for the recycler, which is actually an extremely helpful building, by the way, requires you to have 15 swarmlet when you end the contract. This is a lot harder on the other planets because they do not have anything other than the naturally occurring swarmlet, which often gets dumped into other resources. Phyrexis has uh, an easier way to get iron. It's honestly the easiest one again because what the easy extra guaranteed 2 iron that comes from there does not require you to summon and fight a boss. But Shadow Drift, which is the planet we're going to today, which, oh hey, minus 2 technologies but plus 50 resources. That'll be fun. Uh, has an enemy, which I actually cannot remember off the top of my head. I just call them, uh, Swarmlet biters. They are these little guys who are sealed away inside of some of the blocks, and when you break them, it spawns an enemy which your gunners have to kill. Yeah. But I mean, here we go. I'm gonna leave the little intro cutscene for you guys because it is so polished. Though the only thing I do find myself questioning is where the heck do the workers come from? Be interesting if we got to see a little like secondary pod, kind of like the evacuation pod. Drop in. I always do this because it makes it so much smoother when you instigate. Hey, technology immediately at the top. So, because of everything I have, as you can currently see, I'm immediately going to put on my automatic turrets as they are my most expensive one. I'm using my free thing for a factory, acquired the barracks and a laboratory, and immediately get some more get some workers queued up. Alrighty, turret radius all the way. Always good. Love me some spotlights. Also like really cool, but and that's our first enemy spawn crack. Oh, immediately prioritize that. Boulders, it'll drop down. Don't even need to mark that. It guarantees it'll destroy whatever the block is underneath, unless it's this. Those are indestructible. Ooh, oh. Hmm. Do I reroll or weakening laser turret? Simply because it's a 2-star. But I mean, hey, this start is actually kind of good. Let's keep going that way. So currently, I expect, yep, priority dig right there. Ton of resources over here. Uh-oh. I didn't see that come from there, which means there's another around here. And okay, looking at what we got, queue up another hauler. Increase visibility. That's like pretty much number one on my go-to list. And fill that out. Nope, nothing else, at least for now. And now in this game, you can risk like night shifts, which have the downside of terror at night. I do not call for night shifts unless there are no terror going to appear at night, which is an occasional modifier. Oh, yep, time for platform. I do not uh like to risk my workers. Workers dying, never actually fun. It's actually quite irritating because it majorly slows progress. That and they actually feel very human. They actually have a really good thing. I mean, one of my favorite worker interaction lines that'll occur in this game is a simple little statement of, I joined because of the medical insurance. Because Drill Corps as a whole has really good medical insurance considering the major risk every single miner has of being eaten or crushed or burning to death in the case of this area. Seriously, this is the Fire Geyser planet. I'll probably like do one of each dive. I'll level 4. Okay, no 2 stars. Let's try this. This is actually good. These are all good. Repair station, that is extremely helpful. Seriously, so helpful. But this is best. Ah, there's that little bugger. Oh, priority goes to there. I am going to mine this place of its resources. Every last drop. I mean, I am helping the planet, though. well, I'm helping the people who live on the planet. Actually, yeah, I'm helping the people on. I'm just outright helping the planet. Why do I say I'm helping the planet? Because from my own experience, every single one of these planets has major invasive species. Every single terravore that you see in game, those are invasive species. The bugs that attack us at night, invasive species. Because, I mean, believe it or not, they actually are, well, kind of similar. The first two areas, I mean, sorta. Well, they adapted to different climates. This one, it's. I'm actually not sure how to describe this. It kind of feels like hmm, a very rocky. Yeah, it's very rocky terrain. So everything, all of the creatures here, simply adapted to the more well rocky, hard to dig through terrain. They're tougher compared to they can the creatures here tend to be physically tougher compared to other species. I don't even remember the official names. Like I've read the wiki a few times, well, several times, but I've just been like sort of associating with them for a while now, associating like what they look like for different things. So nest, uh, and you got all these little standard guys, and honestly, I really do enjoy the design and everything. Yeah, and that is the end of day 3 as well. See, those are there. What should I put here? Weakening laser turret should be fine. We're not quite done with our harvest just yet. So, best show what I mean by they're much hardier. Here's the first, like, secondary enemy that shows up. Its entire thing is just being a larger target with more HP. It is a tankier. It actually shoots slower than the other enemies, but its main point is to draw enemy but its main thing is simply drawing enemy fire. Here, this planet, it's an all-rounder, is how I would describe it in terms of how its enemies tend to attack and all that. I mean, what we have right now is, I mean, that the actual mining setup is all completely, yeah, there isn't really, I mean, you can probably see it, but not much else here. And the enemies, they're all rounders. You can use pretty much any turret type aside from energy. Seriously, energy needs new. It just needs new turrets added because it's mainly support. It's mainly like slowing and everything else. You got explosive, and then you got machine gun turrets, which are rapid fire. Those are best for the ice planet because there, the uh, the ice planet focuses more on physical defense, likely developed from ice developing on all of the insects' carapaces, and them just sort of adapting to it. But, hmm, let's install a few things. There we go. But yeah, I'll be able to call it. Yeah, I'll I'll show up the Terrabor since tonight's gonna be just fine. Yeah, that's this planet's terrible. They just go in straight lines and generally not really that dangerous. Really simple. They're big. If your workers are in front of them when they come up, instantly dead. But yeah, really not much. A better show of the tactics that this species has evolved to feature on this planet comes on later nights. One of the better, maybe. Yeah, I'm immediately doing this health checkup. I prefer it over its counterpart, uh, Ferrex injections, as in the end, health checkup. Yeah, you have all that core reassembly, both ends. It's a good, completely, fully restored the core's durability at one point. It's super expensive, all of that. Fuel optimization, all that. This, only thing you actually need. It means that every single day, your workers will always be at full health, no matter how low on HP they are later in the day. If you're worried about your workers' health during the day and them not recovering enough, there are buildings you can install to help with that. The other one is periodic. Doesn't happen super often, and it's only 5%. That can still be a decent amount if you have have worker resilience 4 unlocked, but it's not going to be that good as the other. Now today's an eclipse. It's not actually going to have any effect because I do not have any day ability buildings, and oh hey, it's a fire geyser. I'm going to immediately target that. Back during the playtest, I mean I've been playing since then, uh fire geysers were brutal. Like to the point where the entire player base was complaining and demanding an AI improvement for the workers because the AI would often path and mine those if even if they were over the fire in the first place. It was a major problem that I'm so glad got addressed. But yeah, no day abilities right now, not that big of a deal. We only have what? Mm, nope, I'm not even close to achieving these just yet. Fairly close to it though, like only 6 away. And that's a bit more of a problem. But we actually, oh, there it is. So the entire reason we even came here in the first place and why I'm actually being a lot more methodical in my digging and my just constantly excavating the place is that right there. I'll go and get a proper zoom in on it shortly. Ooh, here we go. These are higher HP, rapid mobility enemies. They tend to move faster and have a bit more HP than the standard grunts, but not much more. I call them the speedy boys. And it's just the rest. There's nothing else you're really gonna see. My favorite showing of their adaptation, though, is their expendables. Still annoying, but again, it's really cool because these creatures take a lot seem to somewhat take a lot after bees and bees, wasps, and the like. Now, set all of not that there. Set that because we're gonna go in at going for that in a moment. Oh, never mind. No point going that way. Wait. Ooh, watchtowers are very useful things. A watchtower is an extra source of damage after you run out of spaces to put turrets. I really hope in an update that an upgrade that increases the number of walls that can develop, because at the moment only three, and that kind of just like limits the amount of turret slots you can have. And I think at most, you can have maybe what, seven if you're running this with the core slot bonus. I mean, with the turret slot build slot bonus upgrade, but still kind of constrictive because you cannot actually address a decent chunk of what they have. I used to really love the minigun turrets. It was really good. It was effective. These were a good secondary. But then they gave it a major nerf. It is the only turret that overheats. It used to not overheat. Its entire thing was the fact that it had when it started off, its fire rate was the slowest in the game, and I mean slower than the gun M311 turret. The minigun turret actually had a decent lifespan, and when it was locked onto the larger enemies, who had more health, it could slowly build up, and anything that was between it and that thing, yeah, no, it could very rapidly plow through it, but at some point, it dies, and no matter what it latches onto, it's back to a really abysmal speed for speeding up and immediately being cut off whenever it transfers. It was, I can understand some problems with it that some of the other rest of the player base had with it, apparently, but it was still a good gun. But then they gave it overheat, and on top of that, they put a turret limit on top of that. Which really, I kind of get why they had the turret limit, but why is there no upgrade to remove it? Because something like no turret limit is something one would think would be a good thing for later game players to have. Like, encourage diversity uh in the like early, mid, and main and late game for a good while, and then late game uncap it, because then you can just let people go all out and have fun. Because by the time they have everything else unlocked, there's not going to be much of a reason for them to stick around when all they really have is same old, completely vary your entire defense, or have a roughly the same pattern set up for your defense every single time, because not much else you can really do for an effective defense. But then there's just some really good memes you could do, like all drone towers or something like that. That could actually be really fun for players who are used to just like standard old. But nope, they added a freaking turret limit, and it's what, 5, 6? I think it varies depending on each turret. But stupidest thing they added to the game. I really don't like it. I can understand the reasoning behind it, but it really should not be around in the late game. There's no way to remove it. Oh, right. Migration and Terrorboars. Night shift. Now, a lot of things for me to do. But first of them is set both of those on max priority to ensure that, well, eh, I'm just ensuring that all of that gets dealt with. Ooh, there's a problem. How do I fix that build up? It's called spending 8 to upgrade the cheapest turret in the game. Seriously, it's like the only turret that's actually cheap, and I don't get it. There should be like something similar for every single group, because this is the basic starting tower, and I get that's sort of like later your expected late game, but until you're late game, it's not even viable to use dwarves, the dwarves, but here, uh, right now, this is just better. And I see a lot and I've seen people be like, oh, dwarves need buffs. No, they do not. It's more likely that you're just looking at them and treating them like they're supposed to be, standard miners. Their entire gimmick is that instead of mining a single block, they mine multiple at once. You need to utilize that. But apparently people think that they aren't as effective as the current as the drillers. And it's like, dude, there's nothing wrong with these guys need a buff. I have failed more later game missions with these and struggled a lot more on them than I have on not that stuff. Than I have on current missions. Alley-oop. Wait, no. Let me fix that alley-oop. There we go. I'm gonna install that shortly. Now, there's probably some more stuff going on. Stuff I should happen. There's probably some stuff happening at night that I really need to pay attention to. We got that going. I haven't let anything bust out yet, as far as I'm aware. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I'll have to go and recheck on screen. Uh, after recording. But yeah, everything goes. And that is a absolute pain. Words can barely describe how it feels. Get all of that queued up. And it'll be perfect in a moment. Just about, anyway. Alright, so another showing, because we've got a new enemy type for 1 weekend, is these. They're pretty much the same as this guy, but slightly less health, and they move from side to side, meaning that they wind up sort of being impacted by both of your defense sides at the same time. Sounds like a problem. It can be if you're unlucky and only have like, and honestly this happens a lot in the early game. A ton of walls where it's just 1 1 1 1 1 1 and then a single one over turret slot over on the other side. That is one of the hardest you can get, especially if you get like two, or even the most dangerous of them all, though highly unlikely, three that are all on the same side. It still somehow happens more often than it should. But now we have all of this to work on and gather and yep, they are low HP and I have to send ooh, grenade launcher. And it's 4-star. I mean 2-star. Let's go. And yep, that's why I sent them over there, because I need to address that, and that was oh, yep, nope, nope. I am suffering. Suffering. I just gotta be suffering. I can't believe I missed how many of those it got out. But I mean, hey, this dude who's still surviving on like what 1, 2 HP. Yeah, my throat's been messed up for a while. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, no, that was the sound of me witnessing the last miner I originally had dying because of flames because of a misclick. That is so annoying. I've had really good games where I just don't lose any of my miners because I genuinely try to be an effective and decent boss. Seriously, like, it's horrifying, but there's only so many times I can. Ugh. There's only so many times I can handle seeing my company emails and them saying, "Oh, hey, guess what? Your workers uh are more trusting because they believe they have more of a chance of survival under your work." And I'm like, I already prioritize that. I literally prioritize worker safety above all else. They are the backbone of this, and if I ran out of haulers and miners, either of those really, at some point, and I happen to be out of iron, and I'm practically screwed. Ugh. One sec. I'm gonna pause this real quick. And I'm back. Uh, yeah. Uh, I did an entire pause thing and stepped away for a moment. I am right back with you. So, after realizing how long playthroughs can be, especially for higher difficulties, I have come to the conclusion that I will be releasing each of those different areas playthroughs, and I am too late for that. Oh crap. Anyway, yeah, I'm not even sure what I was talking about back then because it's been that long, but I am okay. That is the fact that had to happen this soon. Yeah, that just goes to show just how rough. Wait a minute. Uh, there we go. Anyway, yeah. This this entire planet's gonna be a single video. Nothing more, nothing less. Although at the rate I'm going, hopefully I'll be able to send yeah, I'll be able to send the drill down to the next area, and hopefully this video won't be longer than an hour if I survive. I okay. I kind of want to do that, but this upgrade both of those because the killing power will just be better. Okay, so now, from the looks of it, although I might be wrong, we have our next evolution dude. This guy right here. He does very low damage, barely any really, and is not that big of a deal until he dies. In which case, he bursts into a ton of tiny little swarm things. I don't actually know what, now that I think about it, she is called, but she's like, not a Hive Lord. She is a Spore Lord? Nope, not Spore Lord. No, those are the names of like two different bosses, and yep, that's game over. Yeah, it is. It is not possible to really do anything above like, let's see, Aurora Prime, now with additional greenery. Planet Aurora Prime has been successfully terraformed by Drillcore. Where there were once only rocks, there is now flowering gardens. The colonists are already preparing for the first annual vegetable harvest festival. They say the main prize is a shovel-sized zucchini. Oh, hey, good for them. But, yeah. Aside from Novice Borer, not possible. Zyklora and Chill Snap and Ice Plants and all that, actually possible. And that's because they're just well adapted. So, Ice Planet and Spore Planet will be next. Ice Planet, it is best for machine gun type turrets, as its specialization is defense that completely negates all damage per hit, which means you want a fast rate of fire over area of damage, which is different for disinfection planets or jungle planets, because here, the primary problem is a massive fungal infestation. Like right here, we tried settling the fungal growth, studied us back. Now half the crew is a part of a giant breathing mushroom network that wants hugs. We need explosions, not sympathy. Burn it down, please. Biohazard response team. What do I need for that? You need explosive types, because they have AoE against enemies that specialize in swarm tactics. And I do mean swarm tactics. Because Hollowmire, these two enemies are definitely species related due to similarities. One's adapted for check. There it is. Yeah. This planet, it's adapted to a harsher climate due to the magnetic field not being right. That's why they're found. That's why the red bugs are found on all of these, is because their magnetic field isn't as strong, which means it's much harsher on the wildlife. They adapted to tough out that. These planets, they're all ice cold, so they're more adapted to handle freezing temperatures, and they're more adapted to the ice, which resulted in them having ice commonly protecting them. Temporarily, of course, but still there. It's literally just completely separate species, or maybe a species that arrived on these planets but also came with some sort of fungal virus, which resulted in the entire planet being infected. But either way, these planets, wrong one. These planets are all, they are infested with a fungus species that its primary thing is you kill one, it splits into a ton of little guys, which continue on their way down. Very low HP, but again, it's swarm tactics. outright damage, which is all honestly almost always overwhelming about difficulty level what, 2, 3? Defense, not as much, though it still has some problems that are slightly annoying, primarily on deeper levels, that make it doable but still rough. Which, fun fact, this used to be extremely easy. Like, difficulty 10 was not that hard on here, and was actually possible. At this point in time, even though no one seems to realize it, because apparently everyone else is having, like, god tier luck, these planets are the easiest to try and survive on, because these two have been, the creatures on there have adapted to our, have have evolved in such a way that it is really, really hard to do anything over maybe Core Master. I do not understand how people manage to do it. This is doable on higher levels, but really, really hard to. So again, like, yeah. Uh, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me ramble. And if you stuck around, I hope you enjoyed. Yeah. Bye.